That out of my system. Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Her Talk Show. My name is Sabrina Victoria. Thank you so much for being here. I am here with Barbie today, and we're going to be talking all about burnout. Ladies, oh, we're feeling it. We're feeling it heavy over here. She's going to be giving us some insight, some inspiration on how to overcome this mysterious burnout that keeps coming up in our lives. So I want you to get comfortable. We're going to be diving into this. And this isn't just for your personal growth, this is also for your professional growth. So let's jump in. All right. If you're listening live, welcome. If you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love. We are here and we are delving deep into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership on this podcast with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed close to 700 women. And today we are adding another one to the list. We have Barbie Moreno. She is a trauma-informed coach, intuitive guide, and founder of From Wounds to Wisdom. Oh, I love that. She helps high-achieving women who feel, soul tired. I feel that. To break free from survival mode and reclaim their worth, blending raw storytelling, nervous system healing, and spiritual insight. Barbie guides clients from burnout to embodiment, transforming hidden wounds into power, purpose, and self-love. She's not here to fix you. She's here to help you. Welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes, girl. I really like how we're ending this as far as she's not here to fix you. She's here to help you. Because there is a lot of defensiveness, right? There's a lot of defensiveness around like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Why are you always trying to fix me?
And there's always that thought of like, well, deep down, right? That's like the exterior, but deep down, there's always this like, what's wrong with me too, right? So we like show up in the world of like, yeah, I'm good, like da da da. But then deep down, we're like questioning ourselves, especially as women.
Yeah. So when you're saying, so she's not here to fix you, she's here to help you find you. Girl, where are we at? Are we lost?
We are living in a world where we are not valued and we are achieving to trying to find that value, right? One of the things I talk about in my speeches is about the woman the world forgot to hold. And I feel like that's big, right? Because we hold everything for everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a mother or not a mother, or wife, not a wife. Just in general, our role is to hold everything for everybody. And then that leaves no room for ourselves. And so although I don't like the word burnout because it's overused, we really are, right? Most of us are really burned out and we're just trying to figure out how do we survive in this world and make room for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I kind of want to dive into, what's really coming up for me. I really like the word that you used here, soul tired.
Yeah.
I've never heard this before, yet I totally get it. For those of you that are listening that can't quite, she used the word soul, Soul, your soul, tired, soul tired, as another way, I guess, of burnout, right? Yeah, but it just feels so much deeper.
Yeah, it is. It is deeper because soul tired is like where you're beyond burnout. You're beyond exhaustion. You literally feel like I can't get out of this, right? Like I have no escape. No matter what I do, I'm still exhausted. Yes, I can go and do these take care of myself things. I can go to retreats. I can work on myself. I can exercise. But all of those things still keep me in this space where none of it matters. I'm still exhausted with my life. Who wants to live like that, right?
Yes. I love that you're bringing up retreats because that is sometimes we think we just need a retreat or a vacation.
Yeah.
And then literally we come back just as exhausted.
Right, especially if you have other people you're taking care of, right? Like I have 2 kids. If I go on vacation, it's just literally moving my life to a different location. It's nothing changes, right? And,
Absolutely.
and then we try to escape by, okay, I'm going to go on a retreat without them. But you still have all of that mental talk that you're going to have to come back to. Well, now that I've left, now I have all of this stuff I have to catch up with. So we never get a break.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that we're going to be digging into this. We're going to be digging in. For those of you that are listening live, thank you so much for jumping on. For those of you that are listening out in the replay, we're going to be diving into how to overcome this. But before we do that, I kind of want to dive into like, how do we know that we're in burnout, right? The signs around whether or not we're in burnout, because sometimes we're in so much of a just go, 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 same, right? Same thing every single day. We're not checking in with ourselves, and we feel like the way that we are, the way that we're being is like normal.
Right.
And sometimes we have to do it. And that's why listening to podcasts like this are so important, educating ourselves as to like checking in. How do
Mhm.
we know? What's the feeling? What are the signs? What are the things that we should be looking into to make sure that we're being the healthiest that we can be? Because as we continue to get older, right, our family expands, there's more issues, there's more problems, our kids are growing up. Our community is being, accepted, is taking us on, families taking us on, our children are taking us on. How are we showing up for them? And burnout, right, can cause a lot of strife within all the dynamics of all the relationships we have. So Barbie, I'd love for you to kind of just dive into this. What is the number one? Let's just start with number one. Like, what's the number one thing that you see within your clients that's just a really good sign that you might be having some burnout?
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively simple. If you wake up every single day dreading your day,
Ooh.
you're in burnout, right?
I feel like that's most of America.
Right?
Okay.
Like you just look at your phone the first thing you do in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do today. And none of it brings you joy.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not getting joy from your life.
Okay. So waking up not excited
Yeah.
and no joy. Dude, I totally get this. So almost like in a hamster wheel,
Yeah.
same thing over and over and over again, finding no joy.
Yeah.
So
And
so step one would be looking around to see if there's joy.
mhm. Is there joy in your life? Do you wake up and say, like, yeah, I'm excited to be alive today? Like, thank goodness I have today. Or do you go, same shit, different day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is that always burnout or is that sometimes mindset? Some people have shitty mindsets.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. So if I mean, how many of us, especially women, we're always trying to find the happy mindset. We're like, a lot of us are doing these affirmations. A lot of us are doing all this work on ourselves. We are, doing what they say that you're supposed to do. Let me do my 10,000 steps a day. Let me do this. Let me do that. But they're doing, 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 doing. You're not actually honoring and being with yourself. And so that's the intuitive part that I talk about. We know what we need. We push back on what we need because we feel like we have to do all of these other things. But when you spend your day constantly doing, how do you truly know who you are?
Yeah.
Right?
Is there a time or is there an instance where somebody could wake up, be satisfied with their life, be happy, find happiness, and still be burnt out?
Well, your body will tell you for sure, right?
Okay.
So the one thing is there's many books that talk about the body speaks. And so if you're finding that you have quote unquote chronic illnesses, if you have autoimmune systems, autoimmune symptoms of any sort, if you find that you have migraines, if you find that the only way for you to relax is to use some sort of a substance, like I used to drink, my wine at night so that I could relax, and this was the only way that I could get my nervous system to let go of everything I'm holding on to. So you can wake up and be like, yeah, I've got a cool job, like I'm doing like what I think I want to do in life, but then you'll notice that your body will tell you a different story.
Wow. Okay. So this actually, dude, so the importance of checking in.
Yeah, it's checking in and not see what we do oftentimes is we're like, yeah, I'm tired, but if I take a nap, I feel lazy.
That's me. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I like absolutely refuse to take naps.
Yeah, but
I have to be like dying at my desk, falling asleep,
why?
physically like
Yeah.
falling asleep at my desk for me to be like, fine, I guess I will lay down and take a nap, body.
And have you ever asked yourself why? Like, why can't you take a nap if you're tired?
Absolutely, because it's part of my identity to be a fucking hustler.
Exactly. Right. That's why we work with like the high achieving women a lot because they hustle, they keep, but the thing is that they keep doing. It's again, it's the doing, 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 doing. If I take a nap and I take time for myself, it's selfish. I'm not getting things done. There's other things that I can do that's more important than this. Really, what's more important of if your body says, I'm tired, let me take a break. Right?
Yeah. And then I snack.
Well, food's delicious.
Yeah, to stay awake. This is what's coming to me right now in real life. Real life, ladies.
Yes.
But a lot of us do this. We snack
Yes. Yeah.
and then we get cellulite on our thighs.
Yeah. But then the question is like, actually, if you look at like history, almost all women have cellulite on their thighs. So why are we so judgmental? And especially like as you get older, right? So you're young, like your body comes, it's like in perfect condition, right? And then like we get older and we're like so mean to ourselves because we have cellulite. Who really cares? By the way, most people aren't even paying attention to you. Like most of the time, everybody's so wrapped up in their own world that they don't notice your cellulite. And if they're noticing and talking crap about your cellulite, they have some serious self issues themselves, right? Like their own thing. Like they're looking at you and judging you because they're judging themselves.
Absolutely.
I think the important thing is to remember that we're not living our life for other people. And we are, but we shouldn't be living our life for other people. So most of the time we are, right? Most of the time we're living our life based on what people think that we should be doing, how we should show up in the world, what is considered success, how much you need to do in order to feel worthy and feel like you're enough. And these are all things that are external. Once you figure out that all of that is just noise, that none of that matters, and that you literally were given this life not to pay your bills, not because you're supposed to be a superstar on Instagram, but you were given this life so that you can explore and experience and have opportunities. And that doesn't mean that you don't go to work, but it means that you go to work and you're, curious about what you can learn that day. And some days suck, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. So, as far as this burnout and this mindset, right? We were kind of touching on my story a little bit and having this mindset of like, it's part of my identity to be a hustler.
Mhm.
Where does this identity come from? Are there wounds that we need to be healing from the past that have made us feel as if we need to be in this go, 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 go state of mind all the time that is causing this burnout?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes from the past. So these are things that we've learned. These are ways of showing up that we've learned. No baby is born not feeling enough. No baby. But once they come out of that womb, the whole world starts telling them that they need to do this to be enough. They need to feel this way. They're not allowed to feel that way, right? And so even if you grew up in a beautiful home, which most of us don't, and your families are amazing, and which most of them are not because all parents have their own wounds, right? You're still going to be set out into this world where you go to a school and then the teacher tells you you're not as smart as you should be, where the kids there tell you you're not as pretty as you should be, or you can't have the friends that you'd like to have because you don't fit in the social group. So the wounds come from the whole, basically for everybody, because this is the way this world operates at this point in time, is people telling you constantly you're not enough. So what you do is you find enoughness, which is a word that I kind of made up and left, through achieving. And so as I can prove myself to the world by doing, I'm showing them I'm worthy. And so it comes from a place of not being worthy. And so the more trauma you have in your life, the different ways that people show up for you in your life causes what's called attachment styles, right? So how do you attach to the world? Are you nervous all the time? Are you anxious all the time? And so you have to go out there and prove, your worthiness through, doing everything for everybody because you feel like you're a failure if you're not. Are you clingy? Do you need people to approve you? Do you need people's approval? All of these things are how you grew up and or what experiences happened to you in life.
Okay, I have something that's coming up for me right now, but I'm like having a hard time. I was hoping you would keep talking. I was trying to. Okay, so what's coming up for me? Let me talk through this. This is my own story. So I have everything you're saying, I get, right? Not being worthy. Yes, that's my story.
Yeah.
Feeling like I have to do everything in order to prove. Yes, that's my story. Oh, there is a fear. This is real life right now. There is a fear that I have that if and I've worked on myself a lot, so I don't want to give the connotation of like I'm a broken person. There's a lot of healing that has happened. But I feel as if I purposely have left some of it open or some of it unhealed because I know, like, I'm so self-aware of this that you're talking about. And I use that as fuel to keep going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
There is a fear that I have that if I heal completely,
Yeah.
that I won't have the same drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll never get to the ultimate vision of like what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing in my life right now. Because a lot of the drive is like, I'll show you, watch me, I'm going to do all the things, I'm going to prove you wrong. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. But what does it get you?
What?
What does it get you? Like, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I get that.
The
right?
vision of the success. So like I have this vision of like her Nation Global and what I want it to become.
Right.
And if I am good, right? If I'm like good and healed and like really don't have any of that anymore, then I feel as if the fire will like diminish and like not be as strong, not be as like go, like fueling coal into a ship like the Titanic.
Yeah. The question is like, let's just say you gave yourself room to not go after things in a drive of survival, because that's survival, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this wound open. I'm not going to heal completely because then I don't get to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. That's basically still survival mode. You set yourself up so that you're constantly living in this place of fear. If I don't do it the way that I think that it should be done, then I'm going to lose it all, or it's not going to be enough, that people won't listen to me. I won't be heard. I won't have enough money. I won't have this and that. So, okay, great. Why do you want, like, what the end goal doesn't mean that it has to go away simply because you don't go at it in a place of survival. What would it look like if you went at it from a place of love and joy? What would it look at it if you like said to yourself, like, I actually can do this. Like, I know I'm capable of doing this, but I don't have to do this at the cost of my body, my sanity, my emotions, and all of these different things. Because what you're doing when you're doing that is your nervous system is on fire all of the time.
It is. Yeah.
Right. And then when you get sick, maybe you don't get sick often, but when you get sick,
it happened last weekend. I was projectile vomiting on the side of the fucking road. My body totally broke down, and I had to sit in the dark for 2.5 days straight, just last weekend.
Yeah. And then I ask you, like, so you have these goals, which are amazing and beautiful. And I know you could achieve them without having all of this open wound stuff, but would it look like if you achieved it differently? Maybe it would be better than what you have in your mind. Maybe what you think you need is actually not what you need. And there could be this beautiful open door that gives you opportunity where you're doing it in a way of flow versus a way of survival.
I love that. Okay. So for women who are totally relating to me, which I know there's so many, maybe not the exact, right? Maybe they don't have a big, huge vision and they're purposely staying in fear, but they're in this, right? They're in this, like, like healing from it. Like, what is the, like, do they have to sign up with a coach with you? Is that the only way to heal? Like, what is a step? Like, what is something that somebody could do to start the process of seeing some healing, some connection?
Yeah, you start, so like anything else, and a lot of people will say this, but it really is true. You start small. So you simply say to yourself, like, one, I want everybody to know out there, all of the men and women, but in particular women, you literally are enough just as you are. So you do not have to prove anything to anybody. You're simply just enough because you were born that way. You're simply worthy because you were born that way. Okay. Now all of that's nice and dandy and all of these different things, but we need to make a living. We need to achieve the goals that we want. So you start small and you say, like, I'm just gonna sit with myself for 5 minutes a day and feel into everything that I did that day. How did it align with me and how did it not align with me? So that you can just see, like, where am I in flow? So in flow is when things feel good, they feel natural, they just come to you, it's who you are. And then where am I pushing the boulder up the mountain, basically? What am I trying to make happen that maybe if I just let go a little bit, it would take its own course, and that course might be a little bit better than I think I need to control it and make it be. So the answer to that question is literally just take 5 minutes to start. And from that 5 minutes, reflect on what felt good throughout the day and what felt like you were making things happen. Don't judge it, right? Because there's nothing wrong with either one of them. They're just the way that we're living. But once you start noticing, like, this brings me joy, this brings me flow, this feels aligned, and then this doesn't. Yeah, making my kids lunch every day and dinner every day isn't going to be like my joy of the day, although I could find joy in it. Some days I don't find joy in it, right? But those are things that we have to do every single day. But then there's the choices that we make every day. So, I used to work at Wells Fargo Private Bank, right? I was one of their top achievers, making all kinds of money, hot shit, all of these different things. But I would wake up in the morning and say, like, this doesn't align with me. Like, it just simply doesn't align with me. I'm not a salesperson. So I'm going out there every single day selling stuff. I'm doing very well at it. I'm making a ton of money. I've got all kinds of stuff to show for it, but it simply did not align with who I am. I absolutely hate selling people on stuff. I feel like a used car salesman, right? So I had to shift and say, like, well, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy having conversations. I love stuff like this, right? Absolutely makes me happy. It doesn't matter if I have, 6 interviews lined up in a day. Sometimes I'm like, that's a lot, but I still, every time I'm in the conversation, am excited to have the conversation. So do you need to hire a coach? Coaches are good for accountability. I think some of the coaches are still trying to heal their own wounds. I also think life is a journey, not a destination. So what do I mean by that? Yes, the coaches are trying to heal their own wounds because we all are all the time. Yeah. Nobody's perfect, but we learn from each other. And so if you find somebody who has learned various different tools that have helped them, and that feels aligned with you, because not every coach is perfect for everybody else, right? Like, I'm an intuitive person. If you don't believe in intuition, you're probably not going to be interested in working with me, because I'm about trusting yourself. And I'm about the fact that you were born with an antenna to tell you what's right and what's wrong for you. And you have to honor that.
Yeah. One of the things that's coming up for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but while you were speaking about sitting with yourself for 5 minutes and just having a conversation with yourself about what did align for you that day, what didn't align for you that day,
right?
Some of that stuff could include people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing.
Yeah. So is one of the reasons why, again, correct me if I'm wrong, having a coach would be beneficial, a good coach like Barbie, because she or he can then guide you through maybe how to have because it's coming up, right? You're like, just sit, right? That's the first step. See what comes up. But then you're going to start to notice that there's like conversations that need to be had that are coming up. And how do we deal with that? So is that one of the things that coaches help with, or?
Yeah. And so here's the thing too, like, so a lot of people have people in our lives that represent our past. The thing about that is that the brain is literally designed to pick what's familiar for you. So, for example, that's why people say, I married my mother, I married my father. Even if they were not good people, that they weren't healthy for you, your brain is like, okay, I know how to adapt to this personality. So I'm going to pick this personality because it's safe, because I know how to survive it, versus somebody who might be uncomfortable because they're nice and kind and I'm not used to somebody actually loving me and honoring me, right?
Yep.
So the idea behind a coach, like somebody who's done the work and has the tools, we're going to question you and we're going to say, like, okay, you have that person in your life. Like, what does it feel like when you see them? Do you see them and you're like uncomfortable that morning? Like, there's a lot of people with spouses and they wake up and they're like, I don't even want to be around that person, right? And they're like, but I got to stay with that person because I have kids. Well, nobody's saying you have to divorce your spouse, but maybe the way that you approach the situation, maybe you have a part in it too. Maybe the dread that you're coming into it with in the morning, they sense it in their energy. And then you guys start off in this little tango in the morning already, starting your day off, right? Or maybe there's somebody at work that you've decided you don't like because they feel weird to you, but it's because they remind you of somebody. Your brain is like, okay, I remember somebody like that who screwed me over. So I'm just going to associate this person with the person who screwed me over. So the idea of having a neutral third party is that they can walk you through these various different things and just have you think about them. It doesn't mean you have to change stuff in that moment. It just means it's a way to reflect on it and see, like, why am I picking these people? Why am I putting up with this? Women, we don't like to say no. So you ask us to do something, even though we have a full plate, we're like, yeah, sure, no problem, right? Well, why am I doing that? Am I worried I'm going to disappoint somebody? What if I disappoint them? Like, who cares, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why having a coach is important, is so that you get a neutral person just kind of asking you. Here's what happens though. People will start the process and then they sabotage themselves. They're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's opening up too many wounds. So now I don't have time for it. I don't have the money for it. I'm going to make every excuse under the table because I don't want to really do this. And that's the part where people are setting themselves up for not really honoring who they are, because the hard work, like how you show up every day for work. Imagine if you showed up like that for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that's very interesting that Barbie's saying right now is just kind of bringing up a story that just happened maybe like 6 or 7 months ago. For those of you that listen, regular listeners, know that I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and I've gone through a lot of healing process, all kinds of stuff in my life, just in general. And I had this situation come up on a networking call with a complete stranger. Just a woman that I met one time on a little 15-minute call, 20-minute call. And the conversation of religion came up, and all this area that I thought was so healed, like I was so good. And she just happened to say a thing that triggered me. And I literally was crying so bad on a Zoom with this stranger that I couldn't even speak. Like, you know how you can cry and then you can like talk through the cry and just like
You're like ugly crying.
you can like compose yourself and then like just get on with it. I was crying so dramatically that she had to like just sit in silence and then like kind of carry on the conversation and just talk, just like hold space and just speak until I kind of like. But to Barbie's point, like, there's so many things that start to get uncovered. And this is why people don't do the process of healing, because it's so uncomfortable and could be low-key embarrassing when certain things come up. But I'm telling you from my personal experience, when that came up for me, I've been in such a long healing journey now that I know that it's important to heal things. Religion is definitely part of my story. And I went within a month and got so much cleared up for me that I had no idea. It was crazy. But the opening up of these things in our life that are causing triggers, that are causing us, I always say we're all neutral, right? Barbie knows this. We're all neutral. And if something is causing you to like cry like that, like I'm saying, like you can't even talk through it with
Yeah.
a stranger, right? Or something causes you to get so mad
Yeah.
with a those are triggers. Those are things that
Mhm.
we need to uncover. We need to have conversations about. Like she said, we need to like sit with ourselves for 5 minutes, figure out like what's aligned and what's not aligned with the situation right now. And working with somebody like Barbie, who has the experience, who has the education, who has the knowledge, who has worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of clients, right?
Yeah.
To be able to hone in on exactly the structure and the questions that need to be asked in order to uncover
Right.
the wound that is happening inside you. It doesn't just help with like, oh, now I'm not burnt out. It helps with every single thing. The relationship you have with your partner, the relationship you have with your children, the relationship you have with your parents, with
Mhm.
your community, with your neighbors.
Mhm.
Because there's this lightness that happens when we start to really understand ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And I always say we don't grow, nobody grows in comfort, right? Nobody's like, I have the perfect life. I'm going to start working on myself. We only ever grow when we're uncomfortable. So the uncomfortable is a gift,
Yeah.
right? Because it shows us where we have places to work on. And you were saying it changes the relationship that you have with other people. It also changes the relationship you have with yourself.
Mm,
It changes
absolutely.
the way you talk to yourself. It gives you compassion for yourself. We don't have that ugly mind that continues to tell us everything that we're doing wrong.
Absolutely. This has been great. I took a ton of notes. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love for you as we're kind of wrapping up. Let us know. I mean, obviously, we're getting a really good idea of a segment
Yeah.
that you are proficient at. But I would love for you to kind of speak broadly, like who are you, what do you do, and then who should be reaching out to you. You know, out of the people that are listening live on the replay, who do you help? Who should be connecting with you?
So, who I am is somebody who found alignment within myself and is very good at seeing people for who they really are without all the BS and the mask and all those different things, and helping them find that within themselves and teaching various tools because there's a bunch of tools and not every tool fits for everybody, right? So, finding what tools work for people. The perfect person who should reach out to me is a female, generally between the ages of 35 and 55, because that's the space that we are in when we start shifting and saying, like, this isn't working for me anymore. And somebody who just, like I said, wakes up in the morning and is like, I don't know how I got into this life, but I know that it's uncomfortable. And I would like a way to just find a light at the end of this tunnel so that when I wake up, I don't dread my life.
Beautiful.
And you don't even have to judge your life. But if you wake up and you don't feel aligned, I think aligned is such a big word. If you don't feel aligned with your life, then there's a question there as to why.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah.
Where can people find you and follow you?
So Barbie, just like the Barbie doll, Barbie Moreno, Moreno.com. It has everything on there. Like we said before, I have my own podcast. It's called From Wounds to Wisdom. And it is exactly that. We all have wounds, no matter what they are, and some are bigger than others. And how do you change that into wisdom so that you can grow in your life and actually honor who you are?
Beautiful. And then as far as social media, where do you predominantly hang out?
I don't like social media. It's hard, but I am on Instagram. So it's at Barbie Speaker. And I am on TikTok at From Wounds to Wisdom. So between From Wounds to Wisdom and Barbie Speaker, you will find me.
Love it. Well, this has been great. I so appreciate you being here. Opening up this forever box, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Opening up. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forever gift. Absolutely. For those of you watching live, for those of you that watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here, hanging out with us. Make sure you follow, like, and share. If you resonated with Barbie and all the goodness that she shared today, make sure to check out her website, barbiemoreno.com. It is in a clickable link in the description below, wherever you are watching us at. She predominantly hangs out on Instagram. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
I would say you are worthy to every single person who's listening. You're worthy of a life that you want to be a part of, that you're proud of, and that you are simply excited to be, living.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Yes. This concludes this episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you so much for being here. To our dedicated listeners, thank you. Once again, my name is Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation Global, where we continue to have conversations just like this one to help you out every step of the way. As I always say, until next time, do something awesome today. Much love.